Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, sorry, I was just kind of looking around me. This is Kristi Saul coming at you live for tonight's Post Daily Dose. Brian is flying somewhere, and I'm out in the middle of Oklahoma. I just came through Kansas because Marley and I took a quick little road trip and had our first amazing concert experience at Red Rocks, which was awesome in Colorado. If you ever get the chance, hey Lisa, if you ever get the chance, hey Amy, hope you guys are doing well. If you guys ever get a chance to catch a concert at Red Rocks outside of Denver, Colorado, I highly recommend it. It doesn't even matter who you're going to see because the venue and the acoustics are just phenomenal for any music. So I'm standing in a parking lot at, I don't even know where, somewhere out in the middle of Oklahoma because there was a Dairy Queen and we had to stop because we don't see those very often. And I guess that's really the whole point of my Post Daily Dose today. Yesterday I created a post that said something along the lines of one of the most difficult things to do is to really connect to the heart of your child and to meet their needs when your adult needs are not being met. And so I just want to speak to that a little bit. It's not so much about if your adult needs aren't being met, it's more that feeling of lack. So if you find yourself yearning in your soul for something, if it's friendship, if it's activity, if it's physical activity, if it's a social life, if it's an intimate relationship, if it's your professional life, if you're feeling a lack in those areas as an adult, I'm just telling you from my own personal experience of going through that it is hard. It is hard because in a way you're sort of grieving. You're grieving these things that you're missing. And when you're grieving, then you're not emotionally present for your children. And it's really hard even to have emotional space because all of your emotion is being eaten up by this feeling of lack. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to just get really quiet in your soul. And you have to come to this place of, it's like a reconciliation, like reconciling your bank account. You're reconciling your emotional account. And you decide, how can I, what am I needing? What is it I'm missing? And what can I do? How can I be creative in building a life for my family? And a lot of times it means just honestly throwing everything you ever thought it was ever going to be out the door and just stop and say, okay, what can I do? How can I begin to attract somebody into my world who can be a helper? And it doesn't have to be somebody who's certified or qualified. It might just be somebody who's good with kids. It might just be somebody who can watch your kids for 2 hours, 3 days a week, so that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you've got 2 hours just to yourself. Or sometimes it's not 2 hours. Sometimes it's 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 10 minutes of peace and quiet. So, you have to start with where you're at. And so that first thing to do is just start by taking an assessment of what is it that I'm lacking? What's my soul craving? And how can I find a way to get that need met? And what is the need? And how can I get creative? Our world is so, it's so different than how it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I graduated in 1984, so that tells you it was pretty traditional. We had public school. That was our only option. And we were being trained to go to work for somebody else, mostly. So my life is nothing like that now. We tried it. We tried that traditional way, and it just didn't work. And so now our life is very creative. We have the Post+Institute, and that affords us to be able to travel, and Marley does her school online, and we scrimp when we're home. You know, we don't eat out, we don't go out, we just kind of stay home, and we stay to ourselves, and we take care of our business, and then we take these little road trips so that we can experience some wonderful things and see the countryside and be reminded that, you know, the world's a really big place and it's very diverse. You know, we could be in the city of Denver where it's really hustle and bustle and car to car, bumper to bumper traffic. And then we come out to Kansas where it's wide open plains, and we went through some of these tiny, towns that literally had like 5-6 houses and a post office. And I thought, man, these people live a very simple life. And there's nothing wrong with a very simple life. And there's nothing wrong if you want to live in Denver and live, you know, bumper to bumper. So I guess what I just want to invite is, you know, open up your heart to creativity. Open up your mind to the fact that your life may not end up being anything like what you thought it was going to look like, but that doesn't make it any less wonderful. And I think sometimes we kind of have to, we have to get really, really, really uncomfortable before we step off into making those changes. The difficulty with that is it's like we really get to this place of depleting ourselves emotionally, and then it makes it, because of that depletion, it makes it difficult for us to then get creative. So, you know, there's maybe this process, you know, the process that I went through was I got completely depleted, and then Marley got really sick, and then I just got really quiet, and I was like, you know what? This isn't life. You know, we're not thriving, we're just surviving. And it's going to take me getting creative and stepping out of the box of what I thought life was going to look like in order for us to have joy, for us to have moments of wonderful mixed in with the mundane. And so that's how we do it. You know, every family's different, and there's so many different opportunities now, so many different ways that you can do life. And so I just, you know, in that notion of realizing that as adults, when our souls aren't feeling fulfilled and we're feeling that sense of lack, to get quiet, figure out what it is that you're missing and what it is that you're needing. And what I always hear when I talk about self-care, the first thing is everybody's like, if only, how do I do it? Well, so you have to start opening your life up to people. You have to start just kind of manifesting that, you know, just open your heart, open up to the possibility that there's somebody out there, somebody in your community that you'd be able to connect with, somebody that is really going to get your kid or your kids. Somebody that could come and spend an hour at your house making sure that they're safe. You know, it doesn't have to be a big deal. You know, they don't have to accomplish anything except keeping them safe, you know. All I need you to do for 1 hour is keep them safe while I go have lunch with my friend, while I go to the gym, while I go take a walk, while I go have dinner, while I go sit in a parking lot 30 minutes away and stare at my phone and escape reality for a little bit. Whatever it is you're needing to do. I mean, I know it can be really tough. Penny, it's great to see you. It's always nice to catch me live. That's so nice. I don't know. I just hope that there's something helpful in that, something encouraging in that. I know the walk of raising children who have unique needs, I know it's not easy. I know sometimes you feel really isolated, and I know sometimes we feel like our lives are like this big secret, you know, that nobody really gets. But you're at the right place. We get it. We understand. It's not going to be necessarily what you thought it was going to look like, but that doesn't mean it's any less wonderful. And so I hope something good came out of that. I'm just going to give you guys a pan of the vast, great beyond of Kansas as Marley and I are taking our road trip and headed home. Much love to you guys. Take it easy. Go gentle on yourselves as you go through this walk. Y'all take care.